live stream. I guess that's what it is. Don't forget, you're going to go right here. When it goes 00:00. Guess what? You are ready. You will be right at story time. Looks like I forgot to turn on the lights, which is crazy. Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so blue. Crazy for falling in love with you. All right. Now we're all bright and shiny. See how that goes. Do we have any players up in the house? Evening, Sean. Sean's a player. Cobalt's a player. What's up, everybody? Yeah, surprise, bitches. No Slay tonight. I'll explain it in a minute. First of all, I probably got to go take a look. It looks like the brightness is shocking. Let's see. That's not too bad. Let's take a look at it anyways, though. Recluse Mage, how you doing, man? Hey, man. How you doing? Show webcam settings panel. Oh, yeah, yep, sorry. I'll explain it all in a moment, so just bear with me. Bear with me, I say. You've been standing by my side all this time. Now I've got to make sure you will continue to persevere. So we go to aperture priority. There we go. That's all right. That's where we were. Here we go. Kim Hansen. Rich, no. What's up, everybody? What's up? We got people coming on in. Timothy Clark. Peace to you from Alaska as well. How many of you guys, when May 4th comes up and somebody says, May the 4th be with you, and you will go, and also with you. I think everybody pretty much does that. Ooh, I got a bright noggin. Turn that. Cobalt, thank you for the shout out. We now do a test every Wednesday, like probably anywhere from noon to 2, just to make sure everything's working okay. We did figure out what that problem was. I had gotten a plug-in for a VU meter so A could see how loud she was being in relation to the broadcast, because I had connections wrong with, back to opening. I had the connections wrong coming out of my recording interface, coming out of my preamp into the recording interface. We were going to the wrong jack, and it sounded okay, but it really wreaked havoc with the sound as far as what she could hear. So we got this VU meter so she could see it, because A has a tendency to all of a sudden talk very quiet like this. And still working on our mic techniques. When you got to talk conspiratorially, you kind of lean right into that shit. And if you got to talk loud, you just go way back here, so it all kind of stays the same. And we had that little meter for her to see, and the meter was, that plugin that's what fucked up everything. That's why we had all those problems with the stream. It was chewing up the processor, it was going into loops, some other stuff I don't really understand. And anyways, we had already fixed the audio problem, so now she could hear herself, and we got rid of the volume meter, and now everything's working out famously. It's so great. 4X is bad connections, just like bad links in text. You and technology sound about right. Hello, Tony. How you doing? How you doing, everybody? Big Nasty's in the house. What's going on, man? Glad to have you here, Kim. Edward Rocco, hello. Christine M. Shannon in the house. My fellow metalhead, how are you? Going back down here. All right, but everything seems to be working out pretty good right now. Michael Moore in the house. Michael, I would like you to know that in my Fortniting, I have advanced to a level where I just get slaughtered every friggin' game. Everybody is so friggin' good. It's crazy. It's not. I want a whole new season to start so I can go back to everybody at level 0 and I can kill some bitches. Brian spiked the bonus. What's up? Now, Brian, tonight's a short story, so you don't have to tap out. There won't be any spoilers. It's one short story, so you'll hear it all right here. I got the gas. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about what we got to talk about. That's right. Oh, yes. If you're watching this after the fact, fast forward to 00:00, you will be good. Tonight's read is Rainy Day from the upcoming anthology Dread Coast. Yep, there it is right there. The Dread Coast, a charity anthology with proceeds going to support victims of the 2020 5 LA wildfires. We'll have more on that as it comes out, but you guys get to hear the first story released from it, period. After the episode on Deep Cuts, we're going to discuss the question, should copyright be abolished? We're going to talk about that. And if you guys have not reviewed The Gangster and Slay Book 1 on Amazon, for Kindle, for paperback, and especially at Audible, please take a moment to go do that. Those reviews really juice the algorithm and helps us a bit. And honestly, look, dude, if you're going to go, just give it a 5-star. It's juicy. It's a big old fruit roll up from your childhood. You know you love it. Just do it. Of course, if you have any idea, go back to main. Nope, can't do that. We'll do that after. Got some stuff screwed up there. Anyways, coming up on the story right now, Christine needs a new Sigler t-shirt. All right, well, there's many to choose from. Daniel Newby says, hello from Australia. All right, we got an Australian here. We got an Alaskan here. This is great. Dr. T. Campbell is back. What up? What up? I see, Brian. Of course, I should have known you figured that out. Cobalt says, AC/DC at Gillette Stadium this Sunday. Woohoo. Always a great show. Chris Grawl in the house. Renee Rice Henderson. Hello from California. Renee was here from, looks like A cut some stuff. No, there's YouTubers. Here we go. Of course, you're watching on YouTube. You know the drill. Click like, do it right now, and hit that bell so you always hear about me. And make sure you are subscribed. I wanted to work on my California accent a little bit for the story because the characters are Californians, but it's not really a good accent to combine with a horror story because it's always so campy no matter what you do. And if you're going to talk like people around here sometimes talk, or, the surfer thing, bro, it doesn't really lean its way into horror, It just doesn't. Chris Grawl going to say AC/DC at Soldier Field. Recluse Mage, yes, the over-the-top California accent. In men, that's usually presented as surfery. In women, that's usually presented as slightly alligaral, and a lot of hanging syllables at the end of the sentence, even though it's not a question. Yeah, there are many, many California accents. Very good. All right, we're getting down to it. Let's go. It is warm in this bitch, so we'll be going right now. Oh, Ministry in Boston. God, that'd be a great frickin' show. Love to see that. Let's go to main. Let's get rid of... Oop, I got to do that manually. But there's the cover of this book that we're going to be reading from today, Dread Coast. I will not... Oh, we don't need Slay 3. We turn that off. And we can't have that big image just hanging up there the whole time. Here we go. One moment while I call up the logic, because my brain is fried, because I've got good news on Crypt coming up very soon. Okay, let's get rid of the timer. Let's go to recent. Here we go, gang. Let's get ready to rumble. Gotta solo this, solo. Record, check. Very good, but brick not hit back. Okay, let's get into it. Rainy Day by Scott Sigler. Claudia reached for Gidget's harness and leash. Gidget hurried over as fast as a 10-year-old Chihuahua could hurry. "I'll walk her," Todd said. He turned off the TV and set the remote on the ottoman. Claudia lifted the harness from the octopus arm hooks on the wall. The cast iron fixture had been an anniversary present from Todd. 5 arms, but they only needed 2. One for Gidget's leash, another for her harness. "Hun, it's going to rain outside," Claudia said. "You could get caught in it. I'll walk her." Smiling, Todd gently pulled the harness and leash from her hands. "We haven't had a drop in 6 weeks." He knelt, put the harness on Gidget. "If I get caught in the rain, I'll enjoy it." He clipped the leash on her harness and stood. And yes, I'll clear off her muddy feet. Claudia kind of wanted to be out in the rain herself, but Todd was trying to do something nice. That happened less and less these days, it seemed. She appreciated the effort. Thanks, hon, she said. He leaned in and kissed her cheek. Don't lock me out this time. Todd had installed a keypad lock 2 years ago. It controlled the deadbolt. So people could unlock the door by pressing the combination. The doorknob itself, though, just below the deadbolt, locked with a twist of the good old manual turn button. When Todd went out the front door alone for a dog walk, he never took his keys. With the keypad, he could lock the top lock but not the doorknob. When Claudia held the door for him, she often forgot to leave the lower knob unlocked. The muscle memory of locking both locks thousands of times took over without her realizing she was doing it. 3 times last month, she had locked him out. Even though it was a simple mistake, he had yelled, he had pounded on the door. He had gotten mad. While Todd being nice seemed to happen less and less, Todd being angry seemed to happen more and more. She couldn't blame him for being mad at the lockout, though, not really. The only other way in or out of the condo was the garage, and the outside clicker to open it had been broken for over a year. Other than that clicker, the only way to open the garage door was from the still working clicker inside the garage. Right, Claudia said. Top lock only, top lock only. He opened the door and stepped onto their condo's small front porch. Claudia stepped out with him. Gidget circled, tangling her leash in Claudia's legs. Todd knelt and adjusted the leash to free them both. Wow, Claudia said. Those are some thick clouds. Todd stood. God knows we need the rain. I'll take Gidget for the full mile loop. He was being so nice. She wondered if it was a trick of some kind, and then instantly hated herself for feeling that way. If you see lightning, you come right back, Todd said, slightly annoyed. I know. Back in about 30 minutes. He and Gidget descended the porch steps, walked down the curving sidewalk that wound between the 2 rows of condos, 6 on either side, punched together in the contemporary architectural style so common back in the 80s, when these units were built. Claudia heard her phone ring. The marimba's xylophone sound she'd set up only for family members. She stepped inside, shut the door, hurried to the kitchen where she had left her phone. On the screen, a picture of Claudia and her mother from when Claudia had been a sophomore in high school, hugging each other and laughing. Atop that picture, in big white letters, Mom. Every time she saw that name on the phone, it carried with it a stab of fear. Was this the call where Mom would say Dad had had a heart attack? Was this the call where Mom would say Dad had a heart attack? Or would it be Dad on Mom's phone saying she fell down again, and what should he do? They were both in their late 70s. In the last 3 years, they'd seemed to age so much. Claudia answered the call, her words bright with a false hope that everything was fine. Hey, Mom, what's up? Oh, hello, baby girl, her mom said. Is it raining where you are? It's coming down like cats and dogs here. Her parents lived an hour north, in Encinitas. It was coming down hard up there. Claudia could hear the rain through the phone. Not yet, she said, but it looks like it's going to come down at any minute. Lord knows we need it. Lord knows we need it. It's been so dry around here. We... Mom's voice trailed off. Thoughts of her having a sudden aneurysm invaded Claudia's brain. Mom, are you okay? Oh, yes, I'm fine. It's just, well, the rain looks blue now. An aneurysm, or maybe a stroke. Mom, Rain isn't blue. Do you have your glasses on? I know very well what I'm seeing, Claudia. I have eyes. Such a harsh tone. Mom was in denial about her fading faculties. Any reminder of such made her angry. Of course you do, Mom. I don't know why you're so rude to your own mother. Mom hung up. Claudia set the phone down. She heard the first heavy drops of rain hitting the roof, hitting the ash and alder leaves outside. Hitting the ash and alder leaves outside. Blue? She stepped to the window and looked out. Good old clear rain. Rain that suddenly came down hard and heavy. So heavy everything beyond 20 feet or so was a gray blur. That was San Diego for you. When it came to rain, it was often all or nothing. Claudia wondered what she and Todd were going to do about Mom and Dad. They were getting to the point where they weren't safe alone in their own home. Mom had taken a bad fall a few months back. Dad, who had always been steady and reliable, a man who handled any issue with Dad, who had always been steady and reliable, a man who handled any issue with constant strength, had gotten so flustered he'd called Claudia to ask what to do instead of calling 911. Claudia remembered the anxiety in his voice, the confusion, the fear. Sooner or later, Mom and Dad would have to sell their house and use the money to pay for a retirement home, where staffers were close at hand and prepared for such situations. They couldn't move Claudia and... Hold on one sec, you guys. Be right back. Okay, then step outside, we gotta talk. There you go. That's live theater for you. We had a barking dog issue outside and a neighbor who's having some issues we're talking about here. All right, let's go. Sooner or later, Mom and Dad would have to sell their house and use the money to pay for a retirement home, where staffers were close at hand and prepared for such situations. They couldn't move Claudia and... Sorry. They couldn't move into Claudia and Todd's condo. The place was small, a hair over 800 square feet, and had stairs from the garage to the first floor and from the first floor to the second. Mom and Dad couldn't handle stairs anymore. And even if they could, where would they sleep? On the living room pull-out bed? It all just sucked so hard. Man, it was really coming down out there. Gidget would be soaked, her little undercarriage full of mud and road dirt. Marimba played on the cell. Mom, calling to yell at her some more, to tell Claudia she should show more gratitude to her parents. With a sigh, Claudia answered, "Hey, Mom, what's up?" "Your stupid father went out in the rain. He's standing outside like he's in Shawshank Redemption. It's blue, Claudia, and don't you sass me. Is it raining there?" Claudia glanced out the kitchen window again, dreading where this conversation would undoubtedly go. "Yeah, Mom, it's pouring buckets." "Is it blue?" Oop, I read that wrong. "Is it blue?" Borderline terror in those words. Mom was scared, but Claudia wasn't going to pretend for her sake. "No, Mom, the rain is..." Claudia saw the first ghostly streaks of blue, almost invisible among the torrent. And then It was like someone slowly turned up a light just outside of her view, changing the downpour's color. Dark blue, hammered down. In the phone, she heard her father's voice, distant and unclear. "No, Curtis," Mom said. "I am not going outside with you. You're getting everything wet. Will that blue stain the rug?" Her father's voice, closer now, slightly louder. She could just make out his words. "Come outside, honey. You need to feel the rain." His words were calm and low. He sounded like the father Claudia had grown up with, not the frail man he had aged into. "No," Mom said. "I will not go outside. It is raining out, you old fool. Curtis! Curtis, let go of my arm. What are you doing? I don't understand." Dad's voice again. "You'll understand soon enough." Then a clattering sound. Mom yelling, not screaming. "Claudia?" Claudia's father, now holding the phone. "Dad, what are you doing? Are you hurting Mom?" Only a little," he said. "She needs to feel the rain. You should go out in the rain too, Claudia. You and Todd. Do it. Then call me when you understand." He hung up. Claudia stood there, unable to move. Dad had grabbed Mom. He'd hurt her? He had never raised a hand to her, ever, nor to Claudia. The blue rain. What was happening? A banging at the front door, so loud Claudia screamed and dropped the phone. It hit the kitchen floor, face down. She heard the sharp crunch, clack of the screen breaking. "Top lock only, Claudia!" Todd called through the closed door. "Top lock only!" She stared down at the phone. She'd done it again, muscle memory hands turning both locks. The rain poured down on the roof, so insistent it sounded like a steady waterfall. "Open the door, Claudia. Come outside with us." Outside, into the blue rain. The unceasing, bizarre blue rain. She jumped again as Todd hit the door again, harder than before. "Open the door, Claudia." Anger and violence in his pounding, but not in his words. He sounded calm. Calm, like Dad had sounded. On the floor, the phone buzzed lightly against the tile, chimed the marimba tone. Todd started pounding on the door, slowly, insistently, one heavy thud at a time. The rain poured down. Marimba chimed. Gidget started to bark, each single bark an answer to Todd's single hits. Slam, yip, slam, yip, slam, yip. Her dog. She had to get Gidget out of the rain. Marimba played, seemed to be louder, more demanding, but Claudia knew that wasn't reality. The xylophone volume hadn't changed. Slam, yip, slam, yip. Marimba stopped. "Claudia, come outside. You need to see the rain. You'll understand why soon enough." Todd was so much bigger than she was, so much stronger. Would he drag her outside like Dad had done to Mom? Slam, yip, slam, yip. "Stop it," Claudia yelled. Only it didn't come out as a yell. It came out, oops, sorry, try again. "Stop it," Claudia yelled. Only it didn't come out as a yell. It came out as a breathy whisper. Barely a sound at all. "Open the door, Claudia." Marimba chimed again. Help. She could call 911. Domestic violence. It wouldn't be the first time she had called for that. Sometimes Todd got angry. He had never hurt her, but he had scared her. Slam, yip, slam, yip. The rain punished the house. That goddamn xylophone ringtone would not stop. Claudia started to shake. She needed help. She picked up the phone. On the cracked screen, that photo of her and her mom, a much younger, much healthier mom. A picture taken by Dad so long ago in happier times. Slam. Yip. Slam. Yip. Open the door, Claudia. She slid the phone icon to the right, answering the call. She tried to speak, but she could not. Baby girl, are you there? It's your mother. Claudia's body trembled. She couldn't breathe. Todd was locked out, but for how long? Would he go in through a window? Mom, I need help. Oh, don't be silly, dear. Todd says you're fine. Slam. Yip. Slam. Yip. Todd called you? No, dear. He doesn't need to use a phone anymore. We can hear him. We can hear everyone. Everyone who goes out into the rain. Open the door for your husband. The phone slid from Claudia's weak hand. It hit the kitchen floor again, but landed on a corner. Not that it mattered. The screen was already cracked and had to be replaced, and her warranty was up, and now it cost like $100 or more. Should have gotten that screen protector. She knew she should have. Slam. Yip. Slam. Yip. Open the door, Claudia. Claudia's legs weakened. She leaned against the counter, slid down. On the floor next to her, tiny, so faint, she heard her parents speak together as one. You'll understand, Claudia. You'll understand soon enough. And that is it for that story. That is our short story for today. Now, I did tell you guys there's no sleigh today because, let me get my headphones on, son. There is no sleigh today because I spent the week doing lots and, oops, had that on the whole time. God damn it. Lots and lots of very detailed work on the Crypt Book 2 final draft, which should go out tomorrow to the publisher. So cheers to me. That particular dragon is finally slain. Did you guys enjoy the story? Oh, there's that dread. Can we get rid of this part? Well, get rid of that. Let me move this over. Now that is from this anthology right here. As you can see in the lower right, it's called Dread Coast. It is SoCal Horror Tales. It's a horror anthology. We donated this short story to, and 25% of the proceeds from the book will be donated to an LA-based charity to be announced soon for the express purpose of supporting those individuals and families impacted by the fires. This anthology is being edited and spearheaded by SoCal writers Dennis K. Crosby and K.C. Griffon. So very good cause. And when it comes out, you guys might consider snagging a copy because 25% of the proceeds is going to go help victims of the fire. I believe it's primarily aimed at people in the writing community, in the arts community, but I don't know. All I know is I had time. I said, yes, I can write a story for this important thing, but I have no other involvement in it. And then that parlayed itself into A and I are going to produce the audiobook. So there you go. Sorry. So Chris Grawl, give me a holler. I forgot to mention that to you. It might be a story coming your way to record. Tyler Miller says, hell yeah. Dr. T. Campbell, very creepy indeed. Liked it. John Bivens, how you doing, sir? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oops. No, Sean, it is not available yet. We actually asked them, we're like, I'm so slammed with Slay and trying to get Crypt Book 2, out the door so we can actually get into the marketplace and get paid for that shit that we reached out to Dennis and KC and said, hey man, can we read the story on our live stream? We'll get some promo for the book. It's advanced promo because there's no pre-order link yet. And they were like all for it. Totally thought they thought that was a great idea. So that is why we had that story in the can. And Come on, baby. Hello. Cheers, y'all. All right. Now I got to get this set up. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am brain dead, man. The crypt has just been crushing my head. Just crushing my head. And little stuff that I get right all the time with this live stream, I'm just not, it didn't get done. So strange. I even have checklists. You guys should see the checklist. They're ridiculous. They cover every possible angle of this stuff. And yet there was stuff I did not get done. So let's see. Babe, your headphones are on, but I got to do your mic. Ready? Oh, look who's here, everybody.
Hello, friends. It's
been a hell of a day live, darling.
Sir.
See, now this is the crazy shit for a live. Boy,
boys.
Let's go, boys. A live production like this is was downstairs and outside troubleshooting a barking dog.
Yeah.
Because the barking dog, by the way, we couldn't hear the barking dog. I could hear you talking to Mitzi. I couldn't hear the barking dog at all.
To Eden, yeah.
Threw me all off, man.
I'm so sorry about that, you guys. I did mention in the chat that we had an emergency. I had gone out to look for that dog because I believed I knew exactly who that dog was. Couldn't find anyone. Turns out it was that dog, who's our neighbor, and his grandma. I don't know how to tip that. I don't think it does.
It's tipped as far as it'll go.
Here's what it is. Hang on.
Chair?
Here's what it is. Yeah, there it is.
Watch out for that arm. Don't yank on everything too much. Don't pull on the desk. Just the chair, not the desk.
Yeah, but now I'm tall enough.
You look taller than me right now. What's up with that? Did you take... Go. You didn't have to do that, but I was joking. It's just jokes.
So I am so sorry that Scott had to interrupt the cast because he didn't know what was going on. But those are our friends, and I had gone out looking to, one, because we have a live stream, and two, because these are our friends. Dog is fine. Human is on her way to the trauma center nearby. It looks like she maybe hit her head when she fell.
Oh, Mitzi fell?
Yeah, she fell and hit her
you were
head.
on the phone with Eden then, not Mitzi.
Yes, but I had gone out to look because we knew that sounded like our neighbor dog. Hang on, I do have to fix it.
Paul Carlson in the chat room says, everybody's taller than you, Scott.
Fuck
you, Paul.
Carlson.
Fuck you, Paul Carlson.
Nice to see you out there.
I'm aware I am borderline little people. But, you don't need to mention such things. So you can take the boy out of Sheboygan. You can't take Sheboygan out of the boy, though, can you?
Hey, boys.
Let's fire up, boys. Let's go. A and I have been going to the gym now together for 3 weeks. Is that right, Peanut?
A little more than
4, a little more than 3 weeks.
A little more than that. Probably 8 weeks.
You guys, A is in there. There's this amazing rig they have. I'll describe this briefly. It's called an E-Gym. So these are all resistance machines. They got the usual pull, push, all that stuff, curls, leg press, all kinds of cool stuff. But there's no pins or settings. What you do is you have a little band on your wrist. You have to get jumped in to it, like the gang beats you up and shows you how to use it and everything. The gang at the Y gang.
You're saying you get hazed?
No.
Do you get hazed to use it?
No. I don't understand what you're saying.
Like jumped in.
Jumped in isn't hazing. Jumped in is a gang beating the shit out of you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about gangs.
He doesn't know what gang logic is, hey?
I don't know anything about gangs.
Did you not watch the movie Colors?
Or gyms. No, but I did see Warriors.
Warriors. Ooh, hold on, babe. If you're going to adjust something, you need that.
Sorry about that.
You got it? Don't worry. We're getting cut up.
Anyways. I think so.
So you go to the gym. As you move from one, you're undone.
Can I do it again?
Oh, sure. You go from one station to the next, and when you get to the next station, you just scan your little wristband. It goes ahead and sets all of the weight for you based on the levels you set during your testing, and then you gradually increase from there. It's awesome because there are 13 people in a room with 13 stations, and people are just cruising through.
Yeah.
There's no chotches. There's no guys like, I'm just going to sit in this bench and think about how strong I am for a while and not actually lift. There's none of that. It's fucking great. And A is in there. The point I was making was A is in there paying the fucking iron price every week. She's making gains. She's getting swole. It's fucking great. I'm very impressed.
Tony, I love circuit training. I am a person who has not done a lot of gymming in my life. I love the circuit training. And I love this system because I always make Scott use the circuit behind me if we're doing it together, because then he can help me with like my form and stuff, because the machine will dial in my weight and all that stuff. There's no pins, as Scott says. But I haven't, just like video gaming, I didn't ever really use circuit weights growing up.
Yeah.
And so I don't really know what the right form is. Like make sure make sure your whole back is against the back, the backrest, or make sure you're leaning in if you're doing a lat pull or something like this or something like this. Make sure your chest and your sternum is up on the thing. I didn't know any of that, so Scott helps me do that. Also, when we're done with the e-gym, we do stretching in a room that also has isometric machines where you lift against your own body weight, and he encourages me to do, what is that? Torture machine with my leg lifts.
Just it's a leg lift machine. Just the dip bar where you can also do leg lifts. A's never done leg lifts before, so it's been a process. But just massive gains, and we're getting our ass out of bed every day, we're going. And the getting out of bed and getting in the car is the hardest part. For
me, it's the hardest part. But Scott has been an absolute prince among men, because I'm like, if I'm waking up this early, you have to be quiet.
Yeah.
And you have to drive to the gym. And he's like, I will drive.
There's
help me be quiet. Help me be quiet.
I have like a 10 to 15 minute lethargic period when I wake up. And then it's like, let's sing a bunch. How about we make up a story in our head right now? Who wants to talk to the dogs? How are you? How you doing, baby? How you doing? You're looking great. And A's just been, the past few days, been like, so much talking.
I have like a 45-minute window for makeup time.
In the chat room, Paul and Dan Baker both, and Rob, if he's here, are fully familiar with so much talking on my part. They know what that's at. Anyways, we're going to the gym. Check it's YMCA. If I don't know if yours has an e-gym, if you have a YMCA near you.
I do believe it's an e-gym. I'm sorry. I do believe it's a YMCA technology in the United States, but I do believe that e-gym is its own separate company. So Google if there's an e-gym by you, because it also like you RFID check into every machine, and it will make you retest if they think that you've gotten stronger. It's great.
Yep. So it's great. Look that up. Check it out. Let's now get into it. Let's do our housekeeping. The goal is to have Crypt Book 2 out to publish by the end of this week. It's looking pretty strong. I have 31 to-dos left. I've gone through 31 to-dos, a refresh review of Chris Grawl's summary notes, gone through all of John Viscar's notes, the military advisor's notes, and the military advisors found a bunch of issues with the battle tracking, the order of flow of the battle. There were definitely some problems there. Then when I went through those, I found some other problems. But anyways, it's just been a laborious process to get through that and make it as clean as could, but we'll have it out by the end of the week. Sunday, April 27th, Slay episode 93, What a Goblin Wants, What a Goblin Needs. That went live in the podcast feed. Tuesday, April 29th, Deep Cuts episode 48, How Tariffs Are Affecting Small Creators, went live. Sunday, May 4th, tonight's episode, is it Rainy Day? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tonight's episode, Rainy Day, will hit the podcast feed. And of course, that big gap in the middle when we were dealing with our neighbor. We were dealing with our neighbor.
Sorry.
You stop apologizing for it. If the neighbor was hurt, it's all right. You did the right thing. Yeah. Anyways, that will be in the feed, edited up, polished up, and should be good. And then Wednesday, May 7th, Slay episode 94, as the heist begins. We begin the heist story, and we have Deep Cuts 50. You know, on a side note, why don't we make Deep Cuts 50 instead of the topic that you have? Let's make Deep Cuts 50 talking about doing 50 episodes of Deep Cuts. Why we did it, how we got started. Let's do that. It'll be very fun. And
how it evolves.
And how it evolved. It's evolved already. Coming up on May 10th, Junkie Party. It's a Zoom party. You can get your own beverages and just go to it right there and hang out for like 7 hours if you want. And that is Steve the Iceberg, Ricky Berg.
This is a little different than normal. We haven't done
Hey,
it
Beth.
many times,
Hey, Lord of the Ring girl.
but sometimes Steve, who hosts this from 4 p.m. Pacific time to 11 p.m. Pacific time every first Saturday of the month, has another obligation on the first Saturday of the month. And this is one of those times. So this month, coming into May, he is going to be coming to the second Saturday of the month to do the junkie hangout. Still 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Pacific time. Still the same link, all that jazz, just the second Saturday.
Tracy Shang in the chat room like, we are pumping up and putting out content. Putting out all the content for you now. All right, here we go. And guys, it's time to roll into deep cuts. Anything else you want to cover, peanut butter? No, you're good? All right, here we go.
Hang on.
Oh, I got to get this. I got to get the file up. Hold on.
Yeah, you got to get the file up.
Get your file up.
Did Scott tell you guys that this morning we were working? I was right below here is where my desk is, and second floor is his desk, and there was this big
That's not bad.
happened.
You say you can't do sound effects, but well,
That's a lot better than mine. I went boing. I literally said the word. And one of the springs on our garage door had broken.
Now that is can kill you spring. When these things break and they shoot, it's like if that hit you on the temple area or in the soft top of your head, because I haven't matured yet, it would fucking kill you. So we went downstairs very carefully.
Door spring breaks in your garage. That is a professional moment. That is not a, let me look this up on YouTube. Let me go to Lowe's. Let me do this by myself. Let me call my neighbor. That's a professional who has been trained moment.
Look at that spring, 42, 43, whatever it takes. Quick! Yeah. Don't be telling me my business, boy.
Yeah, I know you want to start, and we should start soon.
All right.
But I do want to tell you that when my brother, who I don't think is in the chat room right now, sadly, when my brother was in the Navy decades ago, there was somebody on a weather deck of an aircraft carrier who had a plane catching spring, which is what it's called, apparently, break, and it literally swept him off the ship, off the weather deck. At the same time, it was killing him by almost cutting him in half. So
did he die though?
He did.
Oh my gosh.
He absolutely
That's not funny
died.
at all.
No, but here's the thing. When my brother in the Navy went to the debrief of that episode, the people in the Navy said this thing that happened will also happen at home in your garage door.
Oh my gosh.
Openers, be very careful. And so we both heard that and I ran upstairs, he ran downstairs, and then we were both like, I think it's the garage
She
door.
suspected it was a spring in the garage door, and she was correct. I, of course, naturally intuited that there was some kind of alien gangbang going on in our garage. And if you disturb an alien gangbang, you're going to get some kind of goo thrown your way, and it's not good. It's going to melt you. It's going to melt you. So we went in very carefully, and kind of a little bit like this, looking up. There's goo coming. I'm like, dodge that goo.
But I will say, our garage door is repaired. Our neighbor is getting the care that she needs.
Great.
And also, the garage door repairman made me go upstairs outside the garage before he would fix it. So there you go.
It's like clearing landmines, you guys. It's crazy. All right, you guys, we're going to roll into deep cuts. Of course, no more story time. So if you're only tuned in for story time, you may bail the F out. But this is going to be a very interesting episode. So we're going to get into it right now. You ready, sweets?
I am.
Okay. Get here. Record. Check.
Hello.
Okay, I got mine. Check yours.
Hello.
Okay, here we go. Delete all IP law. That's what Twitter founder Jack Dorsey said. He added that copyright law limits creativity. And no, I am not making this up. And it concentrates payments among the gatekeepers who don't compensate creators fairly. Well, to paraphrase Walter White, I am the one who gatekeeps, parentheses, my stuff. My own stuff, that is, and so do millions of creators out there. Does the stuff that creators like A and I make, does it deserve copyright protection? Or should it be gobbled up by the tech bros to train their little AIs?
We'll talk about it and the upcoming assault on copyright law and the intellectual property ownership rules coming up next.
Drink.
Sorry, I heard it. I tried to do something about it.
Just stop and take a drink and come back and do it again. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Do you want me to try it again or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye, Cobalt. Good.
We'll talk about the upcoming assault on copyright law and intellectual property coming up next.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I was reading the wrong line. I'm like, what kind of crack are you on? Turns out I am the one on crack. We're going to do that line a lot tonight. I can tell you now. Ready? Mm-hmm. And go. Welcome to Deep Cuts. I fucked it. Welcome to Deep Cuts, the bonus episode of the Scott Sigler Slices Fiction Podcast, where a sci-fi author and an audiobook narrator discuss things and stuff in the world of fiction and pop culture. I am Scott Sigler, sci-fi horror author known far and wide as the Future Dark Overlord.
And I am A.B. Sigler, publisher at Empty Set Entertainment and audiobook narrator. On this episode of Deep Cuts, we're talking about the recent Tech Bro suggestion that copyright should be abolished.
As a reminder, this is a bonus episode in the Scott Sigler Slices feed. It's not part of any particular story. You don't have to listen to keep up on our current tale, but we think you'll like this peek behind the storyteller curtain. Let's get into it.
So, I just said the thing. In case you don't know, Jack Dorsey, who founded Twitter before Elon Musk purchased it, and Elon Musk have both commented that maybe copyright should be abolished for the purposes of training AI. But that's not what they said. What they said was maybe copyright should be abolished, and we're going to talk about it.
Let's get into it.
So here's the thing. I'm first going to define copyright for you guys. Copyright is a legal protection automatically granted to creators of original work.
That's it?
I need another second.
Yeah,
sorry. I did the thing where I stopped.
Good job.
Copyright is a legal protection automatically granted to creators of original works, books, music, art, software, etc., the moment those works are fixed in a tangible form, meaning written down, recorded, or published. What does copyright do for creators? 1. Ownership. You are legally recognized as the author or creator of a work. 2. Control. You decide how your work is used. Who can copy it, who can adapt it, who can publish it, who can make money from it.
Okay, makes sense.
3, income. You can license or sell your rights. Think royalties, option deals, reprint fees, and audio rights. In the U.S., copyright generally lasts for your lifetime, your entire lifetime, plus 70 years.
Okay.
After which, after your heirs have benefited, it becomes public record.
Public domain. So 70 years you're talking about. If you have children, that should probably cover your children through most of their life, if not all of their life, because it's after your death plus 70. Your grandchildren get some of that sweet, sweet residual, and often there's no residuals at all, which is what we're going to talk about too. And even your grandchildren can get a little taste of that nectar. Now, if you've done a great thing, if you've made a great thing that happens to catch fire with the populace and makes a bunch of money, that sort of ensures that your lineage and your family gets to benefit from the intellectual property that you birthed into this world that would not have existed without you. And we're going to talk now about what's our next topic?
Well, the first thing we're going to say is this is important because this is the way that families build generational wealth. If Scott is a creator and spends his entire working life creating, that is the thing that he is going to guarantee his descendants, or hopefully guarantee his descendants, some strength and power when they're coming into their lives. It is the way. So if he spends 40 years doing that, that's supposed to be his. Just like if he spends 40 years building a building or whatever.
If I build a building or I build a factory to produce widgets, my factory employs, let's say, 40 people in a small Midwestern town called Lumencia. In Lumencia, the Sigler factory is cranking stuff out. There's really no current concept amongst the tech bros or even the most fiscally conservative people or the most fiscally liberal people that, hey, that factory where you make the stuff, you know what? We should just all be able to take those designs and do whatever we want with them.
Doesn't
and
exist.
It doesn't, you guys, screw you guys. That's a great widget. Now we're going to make the widget and you guys are out of business. That's not a concept here on the continent of North America that we have. But these guys seem to think the same thing because the widgets here are all intellectual. There's no actual thing. It's all ideas and stories.
And I will add, it's not just the continent of North America. Right now, copyright law in the entire world says if you created it, you have ownership of it. What the tech bros want to do is they don't want to ask, they don't want to ask for permission. They want to scrape any data they can get off the internet and then train their AI, which they'll charge you for, without paying us or Scott for that benefit.
Now, one of the quotes I saw, I don't know if you have this in there, when I was reviewing this, looking at this stuff today, it's like, no, they don't want to get rid of all IP law. They don't want to get rid of all copyright law, just the copyright for the stuff that they want to grab to bring in to train their stuff so then they can sell that built knowledge to make money from it. They don't want anybody to touch their core, their technology. They don't want anybody to touch your code. They don't want to touch your car factory or wherever they're building things. They just want to take other people's stuff.
And guess what? Their technology or their code is literally intellectual copyright defined by the United States. So the code that the AI that is scraping Scott's work for free, that Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk and other tech bros don't want to pay him for, they will absolutely want protections and copyright for the code.
Yeah.
Because as Don Shipley says in the Facebook chat room, most of the rich also want to keep the poor poor, right? They want what they want because they want it. And that's what they want. And what they're literally asking for is all information should be available.
Now, in the interest of fairness, because obviously we have a belief that nobody should touch my fucking stuff. Fuck off. Are there any benefits to what Jack and Elon and the gang are saying? Are there any logical benefits to what they are saying that make their stance not purely predatory?
Yes, although they don't exist in this society today, in my opinion.
Okay.
The benefits that they're talking about is a rising tide raises all ships, is the basic version of that. What they're saying is human knowledge can be supported and buoyed and shored up by artificial intelligence kind of collating and evaluating or whatever. I guess they don't collate or evaluate, they collate human information. And they cite several instances where, say, somebody has gone to their, and I'm not quoting a single thing because they're all a little specious, but several instances where it does seem like somebody has been going again and again and again and again to a doctor, sort of saying, something is wrong with me. What's wrong with me? And then they put all of their symptoms and all of their medical history into a chat GPT or something. And it has come back and said, oh, this might be a basor in your belly, which is like a little rock of things that form in your belly. Mm-hmm. And that was the answer. There are real situations where that has solved the problem. But those are 1 to 10.
There's a good point in the chat room from Michael Moore. Devil's advocate here. I was thinking about this. How is a computer reading and training different than a person reading all of your novels and writing their own, as long as they paid for the book? Well, there are some differences here. And the first thing I'll address is someone reading all of my work and then writing in the worlds that I have created using Quentin Barnes and Pookie Chang and Lincoln Franks. That's called fan fiction. Okay. They cannot write a book about Billy and Magda and Lincoln Franks and the Sex Gnomes, of course. They can't do that and then sell it because of copyright law. That is against the law. Now, can they read all of my work, think Scott is just the bee's knees, I want to write just like Scott, and then just change all of the names and put out a book about a group of drug and alcohol-addled monster hunters who have dalliances with short people who are kind of pervy? Yes, they can. This has happened many times. 50 Shades of Grey is a Twilight ripoff of Twilight is a ripoff of another thing. And
Harry Potter's a
Harry
ripoff
Potter,
of Star
Hunger
Wars.
Games, all of this stuff can happen. I think, Michael, the big difference here is in the hands of a human creator, all of these things, the process of changing the names and changing situations by default forces a slightly different creation or iteration of this story. And it's a fair point because a lot of the stories that we have, like Star Wars, is the hero's journey. Most fiction in the Western world is hero's journey stuff. These are tales that have been around for tens of thousands of years. How is it different if a computer does it?
There's several other versions of that.
Okay.
Also, a computer can scrape the entire internet and find out whichever other things are similar to yours, who has maybe said, oh, I'm suing you for copyright, and figure out a way to change that. They can scrape not only the plot of your story and rewrite it, they can also scrape and rewrite all the legal arguments against that so that you get nothing.
So I will add this. This is a current point of contention in music IP law and copyright law, that the people who pay the most money to the lawyers, which are the big record labels, have been able to juice the system and interpret the law that if you are Dua Lipa and 6 of the songs off your debut album are clearly ripping very popular hooks from previous works, because it's an interpolation. Well, I know I used all the same notes, same melody, same tempo, same key, but I added these 2 lyrics, so it's different. You would think that would not get through a court of law. People are like, no, it's this. You ripped this off. It's the same hook. That songwriter who you stole it from is entitled to a portion of the proceeds of you reworking their material and putting it out. That is not how it works anymore, because the laws favor lawyers and the laws favor the rich, and big labels are the rich. So what we are seeing is what seems like common sense copyright law. I made this thing. You made this thing again and profited hugely from it. You wouldn't have made it if I had made it in the first place. Some of that money should be coming back to the original creator. That is not the case. So that is also germane to Michael's point. If a computer is analyzing everything I do, and then it wants to put out a Scoot Figler novel, what protections do I have when it's patently obvious that that work has been made as a derivative work of my own? Now, Steve, this is going to happen to Stephen King. It'll happen to J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
These things are absolutely going to happen. So what else we got to cover here?
A couple of things I want to point out. One other thing I want to point out early is to say these things have already happened, but we are having people who live and work and breathe and poop and sleep and eat make these decisions. If we decide, hey, a computer that can be as big as I can build it and as fast as I can build it, which could literally take over the thought processing power of 100,000 or 2 million brains or 6 million brains, that is going to be faster and cheaper, and that's what people are going to pay for. And I will add a long tail thing, which is one of the biggest dangers is if we allow copyright to be superseded for an AI will learn without, we'll just learn everything and we'll make that amalgamation. So we will end up in 451. That's what I think. We'll end up in Fahrenheit 451. If nobody is creating new things and challenging and making new things, and it's all aggregate data, we become a sort of a soup, and we end up in Fahrenheit 451 where no one owns anything and nobody is excited
So
by
let me
anything.
get one more point on this before we go on to your other points. There's also an issue of scalability. So hold on, I'm getting a book plate link here.
Okay, that's no problem.
We had chat room asking, can I get my book plate signed by Scott Sigler? And yes, you can. If you go to scottsigler.com/store, all of my books are available either from us or links to other sites like Amazon and Barnes & Noble. We have tons of merch, and we've got this wonderful thing called a book plate. So if you can't afford to ship the book to me, have me sign it and ship it back to you, we've got this. We give it away for free. You just have to pay for the postage. Go to scottsigler.com/store, search for book plate. So the thing we're talking about here, back to Michael's comment, is scalability. one other human, let's say Chris Grohl, who's an author of some note in the chat room right now. Let's say he's like, you know what? I'm ripping off Slay. And he goes out and he writes his own version of Slay. There's only so much Chris Grohl can process in a certain amount of time to steal an idea, reskin it, and put it out. And most people who do that, it's not going to work. Occasionally you have home run hitters. Like in every other industry, somebody has the right story at the right time, the right author, and everything goes great. That limitation of wetware that we have as human beings is not a limitation to AI. AI right now, Google has already scanned everything that's ever been put out in digital form. Every word that's been in digital form, they have scanned that shit. In every language, they have a database of this. AI can go through and literally see the combined artistic work of all of humanity, everything that's ever been recorded in print in all of humanity, and base its output on all of that. That creates an issue where that is why, Michael, that is why this is different than you sitting down, studying Stephen King and saying, I want to write like Stephen King. It is a vast chasm of a difference.
It is time for us to take a quick break. If you have a minute, listen to any ads that pop up. There's only one or two. It really helps the show, and we'll be back right after this.
Dude, we haven't got to like 2 of our questions yet. This is fucking nuts. There's so much to say. You ready?
I am.
Welcome back to Deep Cuts. Let's
This
do it again.
episode.
Let's go. Ready?
Oh,
Ready? Got the thing? Welcome back to Deep Cuts.
this episode, we're talking about if copyright should be abolished.
What do we got? What else we got on your points here? Let's get to it. Let's get into it. We'll get
So-
as many as we can get before we run out of time.
The things that matter to not the ruling class or billionaires, tech bros, whatever, are things like the way we make a living is small. We have a very small carve out, and they don't even want to acknowledge that what they scrape from the internet belongs to Scott.
Right.
So that will make it difficult. It's already difficult, but it'll make it difficult 5 years from now. It'll make it impossible for us to claim copyright if there's not a law that protects it. So just so you guys know, literally every day of my job, I search Amazon and Barnes & Noble and Kobo for Scott Sigler titles. And I make sure that all of those titles either belong to the people we have contracted to put out those books, like Crown Publishing, Random House, or Graphic Audio, or us. And when they don't, I submit takedown things because people spoof everything.
Yeah.
People literally look at our Amazon listings, screenshot the text, buy an ebook, and upload all that data and sell it as a Scott Sigler book from Empty Set Entertainment, and it's not us.
We have a Facebook fan page right now, or a Facebook page that's mimicking our page. We haven't been able to get it taken down yet, but they're going to soon start putting out their own products. And just today, I had to file a copyright notice with YouTube because somebody put out an audiobook version of Aliens Phalanx on YouTube for free to run it against advertising to make some money. And like a lot of people worked really hard in that book, bro. A lot of people put in a lot of time in that book, and that shit is my copyright. So fuck you, pay me. That's the attitude that we have.
Every single day, I have to literally stop just absolute shitty spoofs from selling to you as if it's us. And the way I found out that I had to do that was somebody bought one of those books because it looked and smelled like us, and it was shitty. So I had to fix it.
Before we get to A's other interesting points here, what's going to happen? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I've been right about so much of this shit. And when everybody was mocking like AI is never going to have a human, not going to have a human voice, it's not going to have a human soul. I'm like, bitch, you already are buying, you don't even know. Is somebody, let's say Stephen King or Richard Kadrey, who's leading the charge against all of this, work's going to come out and it's going to absolutely be a Sandman Slim story in everything but name. Richard Kadrey's going to find out. He's going to sue Jack Dorsey with whatever, let's say, audiobook company Jack Dorsey comes up with. And Richard Kadrey is going to lose because Jack Dorsey has infinitely more money than he does and can hire an infinite number of lawyers and tie it up in the courts. And that is where this AI is a huge threat to us right now, because AI is not a couple of guys in a garage making Hewlett Packard. AI is these big companies, the richest companies that have ever existed in history, the richest men who have ever existed on our planet. They can just throw any legal thing, they can throw money at it. So any weakening of copyright law, the smallest amount, is the crack in the dam that allows people with more money to completely take over and win every time.
On YouTube, Michael Moore says copyright is up to the copyright owner to enforce, and that is 100% true. Guess how the copyright owner enforces that on whichever website is?
How?
They have to submit a takedown order, a DMCA order?
DMCA.
On whatever platform that is, which is owned by the platform. So guess how we do things on Twitter or YouTube? We submit all of our proof that we own the copyright, and they tell us that wasn't an infringement.
And then that's it. This case closed. So Michael, somebody,
yeah, you're right.
Somebody steals my book, puts it up on YouTube, and I have to find out about it. Copyright enforcement is up to the copyright holder, but a copyright holder has to find out an infringement has occurred, right? That is a very difficult process, very laborious process. I get away with it now because anybody puts out a thing, this is a Scott Sigler story, which isn't, or this is a Scott Sigler story, which is a ripoff. I have a vanity search. I get to find out about that. Random House isn't protecting my ass. You know,
they don't care about us.
The copyright holder enforcing it puts an unnecessary burden of financial capability upon the copyright holder. Why we're talking about this is this isn't Facebook having copyright and having an army of bots to find stuff and an army of lawyers to pay for it. It's guys like me. It's guys like Richard Kadri. It's guys like Jonathan Mayberry. We're making stuff. We are making original stuff. I have spent all of my fucking time over the past month working on the Crypt Book 2. I do not have time to go find copyright violators. I do not have the resources to pay other people to go find copyright violators. But the copyright is mine because I am the creator. I'm the one making it. So when you say things like the onus is on the copyright holder, that is an incorrect statement in the basic logic of how we find out about things in digital age.
I think it's a correct statement.
It's a correct statement.
Yeah, it's a correct statement. The copyright owner has to fight that. It's weird because, of course, especially we're in North America. We're in the United States of America. So for us, here's what's going to happen. We are going to say, there's precedent that we own this. Very small creators are going to do this. And then our government is going to say, yes, but these people paid me. So I'm going to influence the Supreme Court and make this okay. And you guys will be fine. You can go back to feudal land state and just work for those people.
That's where we have wound up in the music industry. And I think that the publishing storytelling industry is close behind. So A's going to find another topic here. Another point in this, I'm going to, for the people who are watching us live, if you're hearing this after the fact, we do this live stream every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. You can join us, be in the chat room, ask us questions at twitch.tv/Scott Sigler, youtube.com/Scott Sigler, or facebook.com/Scott Sigler. So for the benefit of the live audience, I'm going to paste a link in, if I can find it, that shows Dua Lipa, the artist, who I think is fantastic, by the way. And her song overlaps with other creators. And when you hear this, you're like, oh, the original songwriter absolutely won that case.
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
They didn't.
Because the people with the money have taken control of the legal system. And even though it's an obvious ripoff, the original creator has no recourse. So they can't enforce their copyright because the law no longer recognizes their copyright due to the work of these lawyers.
Yeah. So while he's doing that, I'll tell you a couple of topics that matter to small creators like us or IP intellectual property owners that will hopefully not go away in the next handful of years. One of them is this idea that the tech bros are saying that all knowledge should be free. And that was true. The library at Alexandria was absolutely free to get into. You could stay there. It never closed. You could stay there all the time. Jack Dorsey, who's saying all knowledge should be free. Elon Musk, who's saying all knowledge should be free. Guess what they do? They charge
Yeah.
for everything they fucking do. Everything they do. So what they're saying is
There it
we
is.
should help them give his intellectual property away for free, but they will probably charge for it, or they'll sell your data so that people can market to you. That's one problem, big problem that I have. Another big problem I already mentioned is
okay, hold on. This might cause noise right here. We can't. The best part of this is we're calling up a clip on YouTube to put in the chat room showing that Dua Lipa has hooks and lyrics that are from other songs. And the original song creator sued and lost, and I can't play these examples because copyright law protects Dua Lipa. Isn't that bonkers? So we're going to paste this in right here. You guys, if you have TikTok, watch it. I think you can watch it if you don't have TikTok. It is mind-bending. So those of you listening at home, search for Dua Lipa, Gen Z, Gen X. And you're probably going to come up with something on Threads or TikTok or Instagram stories. So
yeah,
that's it.
I will also say that this idea that if copyright law is abolished, creativity will explode isn't sustainable.
Could not disagree with that.
Yeah, it's unsustainable. The only reason that somebody like Scott, who has been slaving for 14 hours a day for the last week to get his book done, does that is because it matters to him. And it matters to him because it belongs to him. We have had discussions in our life and marriage where I say, I don't like this cover. I think it should be this, but your
My name's on the cover.
on the cover and it belongs to you. I think it's the wrong answer, but the decision is yours. In a two-person relationship, because if it's his and he puts his name on it, it has to feel like his. And this argument that doing away with copyright will expound creativity simply doesn't exist. Because if he didn't own Crypt Book 2, which he has been slaving on for weeks, I'm not sure he would even get out of the bed in the morning. I think he would, but I'm not sure he would do it for the Crypt Book 2. Because that's what he's doing.
This is small business, right? If somebody else is going to make we're going to watch if the copyright issue in the U.S. and China are in a very difficult situation right now. And China has made shots across the bow to be like, what if we just don't fucking pay attention to copyright law whatsoever? We know everything. We know how you make everything. We make it for you. We're just going to go ahead and make it and stop paying you for it. If they do that, how enforceable is that? And if somebody does that with my stories, we're just going to make the next 10 Crypt books and have AI write them. And you at home are like, buy one by accident. You're like, this is pretty good. That's the problem. The problem is AI is getting to the point where like, that's actually pretty good. Then I'm screwed. I don't write them anymore because I have no
And I actually
motivation.
said this I went out to lunch with a handful of girlfriends this weekend, and I said this, and they were all gobsmacked. I have to 4 times every time I submit a book of any format to Amazon or Audible or Barnes & Noble or whatever, 4 times in the process, I have to confirm that what is on that page and being printed was written by Scott Sigler and wasn't written by AI. 4 times. I also, when I submit an audiobook, have another layer where I have to confirm that that's not an AI-generated voice. And the second that platform accepts that book, it offers me the second it does it, it offers me the option, a one-click option, to have an AI-generated voice read that book.
That's already here right now.
Because guess what? If I can't submit a book generated by AI, but Amazon can generate it for me, Amazon makes that bank.
Amazon makes that bank. That is a great point, babe. Let me repeat that in case you guys didn't catch it. If we upload a book and we say, no, this was not generated by AI, and no, we do not have an audiobook, and they won't sell our book if it's generated by AI. And then once we submit it, Amazon says, hey, would you like an AI generated audiobook, narrated audiobook for this? And we say yes, which a lot of creators are going to do because they can't afford to hire a narrator because it's expensive. A one-click option. Now, a budding young 18-year-old author who's busting her ass, who's working her ass off to try and make it, takes this easy option. She starts getting paid for that audiobook. Amazon makes the most money. She'll get paid 20% on her intellectual property, and Amazon for those audiobooks will collect 80%. So it's already begun. It's already happening.
And I've mentioned, so the problem here is co-opting creativity or intellectual property and individuality creates this sort of middle ground amalgam that's like, that's like pressed wood furniture. Like it looks like normal furniture, but it will fall apart
so
under pressure.
This is IKEA furniture, but it's from IKEA spelled with IKEAH.
Yes, exactly.
It's IKEA.
It is not even IKEA furniture. It is melamine pressed wood furniture, and eventually, it won't have any creative spark. I am telling you, this is the moment we head towards Fahrenheit.
In the chat room, we've got some great comments. Tony Duracia Vigneri says, such bull. Martin Evans says, two-finger salute. David Lamb says, God, this is so depressing. And it is depressing because in our current political, legal, and international business climate, it is the person with the most money who gets to win the game. You guys can see that when you watch the Dua Lipa video that I linked to it. All that matters is who's got the most money to pay the lawyers. We know who has the most money to pay the lawyers. It's Jack Dorsey, it's Elon Musk, it's other tech bros. And the last thing I'll say before we get back to any base points we can still squeeze in for the end of this is anybody in the tech industry who is saying the gatekeepers are not paying the content creators fairly. Therefore, we should abolish IP and copyright law. What that means is they want to make all the money and then not pay the creators. The only difference is Jack Dorsey's mad someone else is bilking the creators and not paying them enough. He wants to come in and bilk the creators and not pay them anything at all. What else we got, babe?
I will just say, we don't have a lot of time left, but I will say Scott is absolutely right. Jack Dorsey, who I have to mention, is $45 billion richer because Elon Musk bought Twitter. So he gets to say, I think this will, help. I don't think it'll help. I think it will help his bottom line. But the things the potential goodness that's left in the few minutes that we have left are several. All the tech bros think all knowledge should be free except their knowledge, which they will for sure charge you for. So we're not going to do that. The other thing is there are several interesting thought processes here, which is kind of another way to say all knowledge should be free is it's progress, not plagiarism. And I feel like if any of you have ever understood plagiarism in any way, you will understand that's not true. It's not progress. It is plagiarism.
We had people talking about in the chat room earlier. This is another iteration of the robber baron state. The robber baron state, and I'm making this up as I go, so bear with the terminology. A robber baron state is one in which the people who get to the finish line first, say with lumber, they figure out how to harvest lumber, how to get all that, how to get cheap labor, and then resell that labor's harvest at a very high price, and they become very rich, immediately goes to work on how to stop other people from getting rich. And then when that's done, they stop other people from getting to middle class via the lumber industry. And when that's done, they make sure everybody who is in the industry except them stays poor. And this is why it's called the robber baron state. And we are there right now with all the digital aspects of what's going on. Incredibly, impossibly, unimaginably wealthy people don't want other people to make a living wage, because the living wage multiplied by many people making a living wage takes away from them being able to hoard wealth. That is what everybody who says get rid of copyright law actually wants, no matter what words come out of their mouth.
And Scott is calling that robber baron behavior. When the robber barons were titans of industry.
They were. They absolutely were, though.
They absolutely were. They weren't called robber barons. They were called titans of industry.
Oh, I see.
Well, they were stealing, which is why they became robber fucking barons. So guess what? You seeking out paying a creator for their work. I'll be super frank. At the same time that you order shit from Amazon.com because end stage capitalism is still you fighting back for the little guy. Finding a way
That's true.
to support us. And I'm not saying you need to support that over buying from Amazon. Buy from Amazon if that's where you're at, end stage capitalism. But what I can tell you with 100% surety is I know I am dying on the right side of history because that's unacceptable to me. Anybody who tells you that that's acceptable to them, or all of this is fine, all of this is progress, tariffs are a good thing, all that stuff, they might not die on the right side of history. And that's not a lot. That's not a lot to go on. But I absolutely am sure that someday we will call Jack Dorsey, Elon Musk, all those people, robber barons in their own right.
100%.
Because they are stealing from the poor to serve the rich because they don't care about us.
They don't care. They don't care. And now let me state this. They're not alone in this I don't care attitude. They are not pioneers of this I don't care attitude. You know, the Rockefellers and going back in the history of America, I am not going to lie, some of these absolutely ruthless, vicious motherfuckers have moved overall society forward and overall technology forward in a way that eventually benefits a lot of people. But there are also people who've done that who haven't been predators. Mm-hmm. There are people who've done this and created new things or come up with new ways to combine a couple other technologies and benefited people all over who don't wind up being billionaires. Because basically to be a billionaire, the way to do that is to not pay the people who are working for you a commensurate level of income that benefits the entire operation from floating upward together. And that's not communism.
The only way is to have human slave labor.
To become a billionaire, there's some form of below the poverty level labor that you are seeking out. That's just the way it is. Because if you were on the right side of history, as A mentioned, you'd be like, holy shit, we're making money. I gotta get my people a taste of this shit. If you were a team player, you'd be like, oh, my boys and girls came up. Look what they did. I got a fucking yacht. My yacht's worth $20 million. Let's get everybody paid. They don't do that. A
rising tide that raises all ships actually floats out to the ocean and serves the world. A rising tide that is dammed up. So Bezos gets his check, absolutely stagnates and dies. And that's the thing. The last thing I'll say is AI will never replace creators, even though that is the goal right now. The goal right now with the tech bro robber barons is let AI just replace these bitches I have to pay. So here's the thing. AI cannot, because we've seen this happen. Mass marketing, cheapening, outsourcing, that doesn't necessarily replace creators. It cannibalizes creators. And if we accept the cannibalized product as good, that will be what we get from now on. But we won't. That's not how people work. So cannibalizing creators does not improve.
So here's where my wife and I, and my business partner and I, my ride or die and I disagree. AI will absolutely replace the creative human being. There's zero question. The only thing that stands between AI writing some fucking great stories on the fly, narrating it with wonderful narration on the fly, there's only two variables. Those two variables are time, and all this will happen within the next 5 years. The second variable is copyright and IP law. The only thing stopping the destruction of the creative class, because AI can put it out faster, cheaper, and more lucratively, is law protecting human brains that have created the shit that AI was trained on in the first place. This is not a technological barrier. This is absolutely coming. AI stories that are as good as anything you've ever read from me or anybody else is on our doorstep. It will be here. The only separator is the law.
Yeah. And that is the only, and this is the moment. It's not just for creators, it's for everything that
programmers are getting fucked right now.
The ruling class, so to speak, the billionaire class wants us to believe we'll be better in the future. All of that, creativity, physical work, all of that. The only way that pushes back is if we actually push back. What they're hoping, what Jack Dorsey, $45 billion richer, what Elon Musk, $71 billion poorer, is doing is saying, I don't...
So, take a break, right? Fuck this mouse.
Oh,
God damn it.
What's happening?
It won't, it would only go horizontal. Ready?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, let me start
Get your thought back. Get your thought back, and then go.
I think the thing that these tech bros are hoping that we don't do is choose human creators, choose non-AI, choose to say, we don't want that. We want...
Sorry, guys. Go ahead.
Is to choose that we want life in our life. We want humans in our life. And I think that that is possible. I think that we will push back. We've done it 1,000 times. So sorry. I think this might be our neighbors coming back. If you guys didn't hear, we had a neighbor who had a medical emergency, and I think they're coming back with emergency vehicles now. So it's a little bit loud. So I'll wrap up until Scott comes back with saying, I think we've seen this 1,000 times before, where government regulations have allowed giving troops in World War I rotting food because it looked good or whatever. Like, we'll get back there. We will have a thing where humans push back and say, we want life in our life. And that's what we have to do. Everything okay?
Yeah, everything is okay. Let me finish my comment. I was going Michael Moore, I was going to put this in the comment. Type it in, but I got distracted by some barking dogs. In a nutshell, my response to your quite interesting point is, if the creation process of the AI would not have occurred without the AI studying a giant swath of creators, and that study itself violated copyright law, because copyright law protects someone from taking my work and reproducing it in a format that makes them money, unless some of that money flows back to the creator. That is the general disagreement, or the general disconnect you and I are having on this point. Everything that you said is valid and logical, but when you get to the core element, how did AI get to the point where they can be programmed by simple language, you talking to it? How did they get to the point where they can write a story, where they can generate an image? That comes because the AI has studied the work of human brains. Here's the craziest thing to me about all of this. There is an enormous amount of work in the public domain. An enormous amount of work in the public domain. If Jack Dorsey and Elon Musk and Facebook and everybody else is like, listen, we're just analyzing the shit out of stuff that's in the public domain, that's a massive database, very rich. And frankly, in the way our copyright law is written in the West, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. But they aren't doing that. There's 2 points about it. They aren't doing it, number one, because they want everybody's shit for free, including the people who are supposedly protected by copyright law right now. And number two, they don't think they can make money by analyzing Tom Sawyer and reselling that. If they thought they could make money at it and be free and clear, they wouldn't be grifting off of the work of people who do what I do. The only reason you have a GFL or a Slay or an Infected Trilogy is because I came up with shit that nobody else in the world has ever come up with, and shit that would not have been in the world if I hadn't been fucking born and dedicated my entire goddamn life to making stuff for you guys. That's the part of this that sometimes people pass over. AI is built upon the individual contributions of people who have put things into the world that would not have existed if those people weren't there in the first place. And that is why copyright law exists, to protect the creators, the originators, the people who come up with these new things. AI just gloms off that, turns an algorithm, reproduces it, and spits it out.
And I will remind you, in the United States, which is very similar to what exists in the rest of the 194 other countries in this world that have copyright laws, copyright protects a writer's intellectual property for 70 years after that creator dies. So, if you're talking about Scott, who is still alive, all that AI would have to do as it grows up is wait 70 years from the day he dies, which is hopefully 70 years from now. Which means, since the Gutenberg press, all of that, which is all of Shakespeare, all of the Greek, well, even before that, all of the Greek mythology, all of Shakespeare, everything that Charles
Muslim
Dickens
mythology,
ever did.
Egyptian mythology, Russian
Every
mythology,
Bible,
everything.
Every
The Bible.
Quran,
Yeah.
everything. All of that is in the public domain. AI could have trained itself for free and lived and talked like a human, because that's everything we learned growing up. But instead, what the tech bros want is everything he hasn't even thought of until tomorrow, so that they can profit off it instead of us.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing. You guys know us. You've been with us forever. You know, we are not here to get every single penny out of you that we can. We want a life for us and a life for y'all that is enjoyable and fun and has sex gnomes. That's all we want. But that's not what they want.
Yeah. Last note, Michael Moore's killing the chat room. Michael Moore says, yes, if AI took over the GIF, the guy said, he said, hey man, he brought up some points. I'm like, look, trust me. If fucking Facebook shows up tomorrow and says, hey, Sig, how would you like $250 million? And we control all of the GFL books from here on, we're just going to have AI make them. I'd be like, here's the GFL, sir. I will take $250 million that will change my entire family's history for 7 generations. I will absolutely take that. Go sip a Mai Tai while you make more stories. And he says, yes, but the GFL will not be as good from that point on.
Yeah.
That is possible, but I have to say, as someone who watches this shit very closely, I am not sure you are correct. Right now, you're 100% correct. 5 years from now, maybe 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't know, dude.
I'll also add, and we do have to wrap up. I know you guys are still with us. Sean in the Twitch chat stream says 70 years after death is fine. Even something closer, like 25 years after death, could be reasonable. But while the creator is still breathing is bullshit. And that is the situation we're finding us in now. We, like I said, already have AI-generated books of Scott's on the internet, not scraped versions, AI-generated versions. We're just literally taking his ebook and repackaging it through a different code so that it doesn't look exactly the same.
It's already there. It's a shame right now. I mean, I've been in this business for 20 years. I've been to cons with a lot of people who are very socially awkward. A lot of wonderful creators who just, you know what, they're not good in a room. They don't know how to manage a crowd. They don't know how to step into a situation that is unpredictable, volatile, manage that room, and make sure everybody's entertained. That is not in their skill set. The people trying to get in this space right now who don't have the skills that I've developed over the last 20, 30 years, like if I walk in a room, shit's going south, I'm like, I'm going to take control of that room right now. We're going to make sure everybody here is goddamn entertained. And everybody walks out going, fucking, I want to buy Sig stuff. That was so fun. If you don't have that skill set, you're completely fucked, because you have to find a way to stand out in the marketplace because of the AI stuff we're talking about right now. But we could go on and on and on about this. As long as you guys are out there buying Scott Sigler books, fuck those bitches. Fuck them. We got a lot of Scott Sigler books coming. We do,
especially this year. So hopefully for the next year, you guys will be well entertained.
Oh,
by
last
Mr.
thing.
Sigler.
Recluse Mage says, you could accept that $250 million quietly. We might not notice if we didn't know it was you. Trust me. I'll find a way to let you know. If there's an NDA, here's how you'll know. Here's how you know. Here's how you know, like, how do I show you I am now fabulously wealthy without saying I'm fabulously wealthy? When you see Instagram pictures of me sipping on a Mai Tai on a beach somewhere, hanging out, and that's all the content I put out for like 3 years, you'll be like, Sig took a fat payday. Sig took a fat payday.
You might
That's
see
how you will know.
an orange and black gold grill.
Yes! You'll see an orange grill with fucking black. What are black gems called? Are those a thing in jewelry?
Black diamonds, yeah.
Black diamond.
And onyx.
Big old grill.
This is an onyx.
Black onyx. Oh, that's a sexy ring. Where'd you get that?
From you.
Okay. All right.
For
We're going to
Christmas.
finish up because I am now, I've had a scotch and I'm once again falling in love with my wife all over again anew. So let's finish
say
this
a
up.
couple things. We love you guys. We know you're here for us in the same way that we're here for you. If Scott took $250 million to let somebody else finish the GFL, guess what Scott would be doing? Creating lovely, fun, cool things that probably have sex gnomes for you with all of that money. You know?
I love the sex gnomes,
So
man.
yeah,
Come on.
it's an interesting thing. We're all going to get through it together. We couldn't be more proud that we're a business that engenders your support. Specifically.
It's what makes
it's
the
a
shit
very
magic,
important
dude. That's
thing.
why this is so fun. Why this is so fun to us is the interaction we get to have with the community, because it's taken a while to get me to see this and a lot of experiences out in public. The shit I create connects with people at a pretty deep level and makes them happier people. And realizing that is on top of the fact that we make a living, the middle class living from doing what we do. That's absolutely wonderful. That is it for this episode of Deep Cuts.
Next episode, we're going to talk about what it takes to get to 50 episodes
50.
of a brand new podcast.
50.
Because next episode is the 50th
Episode 50.
episode of Deep Cuts.
Episode 50 of Deep Cuts. And we hope you guys all will show up for that. But
If
that
you
is
have
it.
any questions about Deep Cuts, please email them to info@emptyset.com and we'll talk about them next week. We love you guys. We're so grateful you're here, and we will see you next week.
And you all smell an awful lot like flowers. Hold on, baby. Let me get to this. Oh my God, you guys, that was so much fun. A's got like a page of fucking points that we didn't even get to.
Yeah, it's true.
Because, you know why we didn't get to them? 2 pages. The reason we didn't get to them is because this is so fucking common sense. This is so protect. Let's just
Also,
focus
you
on
guys-
America. Protect
also-
your fucking fellow countrymen. Protect your countrymen who are making a thing and putting a thing into the marketplace so that people can buy a thing that will help, a thing that will make people happy. How the fuck do you think you're entitled to the shit that I fucking made?
Okay. Also,
Huh?
okay, but
I'll punch
this
all
is
those
also,
motherfuckers in the throat, dude. I
know,
swear to God.
but this episode was super fun, and all that research I did didn't matter because you guys show up every Wednesday. Michael, thank you so much. Recluse Mage, thank you
Mike
so
had
much.
some good points, dog.
Carl,
Everybody had good
thank
points.
you so much. Sean, thank you. These things of you guys literally weighing in. Robert Brisson, you just said, like, I don't think I'd feel right. Here's my thing. I'm not
won't
sure
know.
you'd even know
You won't
that
know,
you're
bro.
reading a AI version, because all it is scraping all of our data, adding enough code so that you
know
don't
what?
know that,
You know
that
what?
the algorithm doesn't know it's the same thing, and then publishing it.
How many Tom Clancy novels with Tom Clancy have come out since the bitch died, right? Since he fucking invented a particular
too,
style of
Dawn.
storytelling.
Love you too, Genelia.
And now you still buy Tom Clancy books with some other person's name on the bottom, and you still play Tom Clancy video games, except in 5 years, it'll just say Tom Clancy, because AI will have paid the Tom Clancy estate. We get exclusive rights to this name. There will be no more tiny little letters on the bottom saying also by Scott Sigler. That'll be gone. And Tom Clancy will be putting out novels until the heat death of the universe. Right? That's
Dr.
how it works.
Campbell, Michael Moore, who we know personally, really made a bunch of great points. He is a visual artist who works a lot on the internet, so I totally understand that. And I feel you're completely right. He made so many excellent points and is absolutely a digital creator, but is also so well versed in the internet and programming that he's a really good asset and a lovely friend to have. He's a lovely human being.
Good one. Ian Sequel says Wheel of Time too, and I'm typing in right now. Yes. Next time they're not going to find a brilliant mind like Brandon Sanderson to finish the series because they don't need to. The reason Brandon Sanderson got picked for that, aside from being a great writer and a delightful human being, is he knew that shit chapter and verse. He knew that series inside and out and was able to take an outline and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And the estate said, fuck yeah, you're going to. He's no longer needed with AI. He's not needed.
Right. He's been well dead well before AI also. Brian, you asked, when does Dread Coast come out? It comes out, I believe, in June. I think June 5th, but for sure in June. But all you have to do, we'll let you know. Yeah, and you'll hear from us. You'll hear.
Well, I'll tell you right now,
that stuff.
You guys fucking, first of all, should be signed up to the SIG text line. Text SIG text to 855-955-5095. If you haven't done this already, you're watching right now, you're just silly. I'll slap you about the face in midriff. And then, of course, scottsiegler.com/newsletter. I admit I'm not very regular with newsletters. I'm going to work on that shit after Crypt 2 gets out. But this is these are the places, the newsletter and the text. These are where you will hear when these books are coming out. We will let you know.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. We always love hanging out with you. We're so grateful for your perspectives and your friendship. And we will see you next
Also,
week.
I'm going to go get my ass shot off in Fortnite. So if anybody's on Fortnite tonight, I don't know if Chris Grall's going to be playing, but that is Future Dark Overlow. Because I didn't know there was a character count. So Future Dark Overlord is not in the Fortnite. But if you guys are Fortnite players, you can find me, you can add me, we'll see if we can go kill some bitches.
And just in case, Spike, you're still on,
yes.
Sean Dyer on Twitch responded, but you can't see it. He says right now Amazon is saying the Kindle release of Dread Coast is August 22nd. We have some insider information thinking it may come out a little bit. That might be just them claiming their spot. I'm not sure though, but we'll have a lot more information on June 5th for sure.
Yeah. Last note, you guys all fucking rock. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Really, it makes our day to connect with you guys and to talk about these fucking really important issues, man.
This is a community that is so important as we're in North America. We're in the United States right now. And for the both of us, it's difficult to see our community unless we're looking at you guys. Your community looks like us. This community looks like us. Even though fantastic. There's so many differences within this community. Our political views are different. Our locations are different. Our governments are different because this is an international community. Our colors are different. I feel at home in this community, and that's because of you guys.
The last thing I'll say is my old ass is so passionate about this. I will absolutely fight Jack Dorsey or Elon Musk to the death. Name the day. I'll fucking show up. No firearms. Let's go. Let's fucking go. It's fucking Knuckles. Let's fucking go. I'll put you both in the goddamn ground. Don't steal my shit.
Don Shipley, I am going to text you about what Dread Coast is. Don't worry about it. You will have the info in about 10 minutes.
All right.
Love you guys.
All right, motherfuckers. First of all, let's switch back to here. And I don't know. Shut this shit down, baby. I'm telling you what.
I don't know either.
It's confusing. It's confusing. You're over here. Wait, first go OB. Hey there. Oh. Look at that smile. God, I fell in love with that smile so hard, man. And that's it. Goodbye, guys. You are fantastic, and you all